What if Fighter got a communique from chicken headquarters? Stop laying. Freak out the humans for a little while. We're going to see what they do when we don't lay for a little while. And so
and then that little starter log thing is right there.
Is that nice and toasty? What is that? What is that? What is that? Hi.
it's nice to have a fire. We've had this fireplace here, obviously, since we've lived here, but we've never lit it up before. We've never tried to use it. So the other day, Nana Jana took a look up the chimney scope, and it's clear, and the bricks all seem in pretty good condition. So we said, you know what? Let's light the thing up. Let's see how it works. There's another fireplace inside our house, which has a wood stove there. We're not sure the condition of that chimney, so we don't want to take any risks and start a fire in there until we get that checked out a little more. We had somebody out, I think a year and a half ago, to look at it, and they were unsure, so waiting on that. But out here in this front porch area, we love to just sit out here and hang out, so adding a fire is perfect. There's a little bit of smoke kickback, but mostly it's going out the top, which I'm happy about. Anyways, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on some things. I used to do a segment called the monthly homestead walk around, which I realized I haven't done in a long time. There's just been so much stuff hitting us that I have not taken the time to do a monthly homestead update and walk around. So I figured, because we're kind of in a lull right now, there's not any major events happening this week, I give you an update on where we stand and what we're looking to do before the spring starts, what animals we're going to be getting into, what animals we're going to process, and what types of things we're going to grow, and what types of projects we're going to get into. So let's take a walk around. First topic, let's talk about the pigs. Our porcine pals, Frank and Beans, have a date with the freezer, February 11th. It's rapidly approaching. We're actually going to have some special guests out here to help in the processing day. We're going to do it here on farm. We're actually going to do it right here in this north lean-to. The tractor's been working, and knock on wood that it continues to work. And we're going to use that tractor to help lift the pigs when we process them. But again, we're going to have some special guests here. So stay tuned for that. We're very excited. We can't wait to learn. It's going to be an incredible learning experience, and we can't wait to eat their meat. These boys are big. I would estimate, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong, but I would estimate that these boys weigh anywhere from 250 to 300 pounds apiece. What that equals in terms of hanging weight, I have no idea. We're going to see, but we're looking forward to it. The clock is ticking down. These boys will be in the freezer here in just a few weeks, so we're very, very excited about getting the pigs in the freezer. Also, the pigs got out again, and it was really scary because we didn't see them get out. We didn't know what happened. It was, I think, Wednesday morning, and I was preparing my coffee. It was like 7:30 in the morning, and Holly says, "Sean, there's pigs in the yard." So I look out, and lo and behold, there's Frank and Beans rummaging through something in the yard. Roaming outside the house. They weren't far from the house. And so I was able to, thankfully they're hungry because they hadn't had breakfast yet. So I was able to lead them back here and give them food in their normal food spot up there. And I walked down here where I'm standing now. And this section of fence had been ripped up. Some of it was in that tree right there. It was in the tree. It was the whole section of fence had been ripped up from the ground, which makes me think that one of the boys got too close to the fence, maybe got their leg caught in it, and freaked out because they kept getting shocked and then ripped the fence out. And once they escaped from it, the fence was obviously open, and they just walked out and started hanging out, which is scary, again, because who knows how far they could have gotten had I not caught them when I did. I really think that was, I don't even want to call it luck. It was a stroke of providence that we saw them when we did. We were able to lead them back, and I actually had a spare fence, thankfully, that was down here. I'd had it set up, not even thinking about it. It was my quarantine fence for when I moved them, but it turned out to save my butt. So I used that as like a temporary fence. And then I took the old fence, fixed it up, and now there's like a double fence in this area. But this is where that fence had been pulled up. That was scary. It could have been really, really bad. But things ended well, thankfully. Hey, look at this area. It's nice and clear. Dad's continued to do some of the clearing work that he started last week, that the pigs actually started beforehand. They were the ones that came through and pioneered this land. Dad came through and cut down a lot of this brush and a lot of these scraggly trees, and we've essentially extended our back pasture. So we're going to continue the work. Right now we need to obviously haul those big piles of brush, which we're going to use the tractor for. Assuming the tractor continues to work, fingers crossed, that will be an easy job for the tractors hauling this stuff up. We'll wrap these in cinch lines and use a winch to haul them up the hill here. So this stuff is going up, but man, I am so pleased at how much clearing the pigs have done here. It's absolutely insane what they've done. This looks so much better. This can be great for silvopasture. Thank you, pigs. I said it last week. They really did us a solid in clearing all this out. I'm debating right now whether I want to throw down seed here or whether I just want to let it grow up and see what grows up. I need to make that decision before the spring because it'd be good to get seed down. If that's the direction I'm going to take, it'd be good to get seed down before the spring. Next topic. Let's talk about poultry. I'm happy. We've got, I don't know, I've lost count, 30-something chickens here, 20-something chickens, we'll put it that way. One rooster and the rest are hens. All the turkeys have been put to bed in the freezer. And I know this is a topic that has been hashed over a lot on YouTube and other places. The whole egg shortage thing, I'm not going to get into it. All I know is that our chickens have not been laying. I don't think it's something crazy going on. I just think it's a seasonal thing. I think that's normal. Well, Holly and I were joking earlier today because we saw a bunch of chickens. We saw at least 15 chickens gathered up around here, right by the little shelter thing that I've built for them in the middle of this pasture. And they were all gathered, and they were gathered in a circle. It was as if they were having a meeting and they were discussing things. And Fighter was in there too. And we're like, what if Fighter got a communique from chicken headquarters? Stop laying. Freak out the humans for a little while. We're going to see what they do when we don't lay for a little while. And so today, out of all these hens, I got 0 eggs. None. That was a problem we're hoping to amend with the addition of the 7 or 8 new layers, the Rhode Island Reds, which, if you guys have watched earlier videos of mine, I highly recommend Rhode Island Reds if you're looking for an all-purpose homestead chicken. Rhode Island Reds are what we've decided, and we're probably going to get those from now on for our layers. That leads me to the discussion of turkeys. We really like our turkey meat that we made, and now that I have kind of a system in place for processing turkeys, I think we're going to keep doing turkeys over meat birds. Meat chickens. When I say meat birds, I mean meat chickens. We had 30 some odd meat chickens last year, and they were good. We still have like 1 or 2 left in the freezer. But the thing about meat chickens is you have to put them in a movable frame and move them around the pasture. When they're fully grown, you have to move them twice a day, and that's what we did. That makes it very hard to like go on vacation and do other things. With turkeys, we didn't have to do that, at least with the turkey experience we had this past year. So we actually just let the turkeys, there was two toms and 2 turkey hens, just hang out with the flock here. And they did all right until they got sexually mature. Once they got sexually mature, the hens started laying eggs and the toms started mounting. That's when there started to be some problems with the rest of the flock. We want to keep doing turkeys, number 1, because we like their meat. Number 2, because it's a process that I've got down pat, processing them. And number 3, they're very low maintenance and they're very easy. So what we're going to do in the future to avoid problems with our laying flock is just cull them earlier, harvest them earlier. We let those birds get way too big. As you know, one of our toms was 47 pounds dressed out, and the other was 49 pounds dressed out. So we let them get too big. So I think next time when we get more turkeys, which we will, probably after we get the pigs harvested, we'll get another round of turkey chicks. We will probably harvest them after a few months, and not wait a year to harvest them like we did this time. What do you guys think? Third big update, the garden. What are we gonna do with the garden? Right now, there's a couple beds that are really grown over with weeds, and we need to get out and root those weeds out before the grass starts growing again here in maybe 2 months. So I've got a project, a boring project, a laborious project, but a project that'll keep me busy, and that's digging out the weeds from the roots in a couple of these beds. Now, Nana Jan actually took it upon herself to go through some of the beds and dig down to the very bottom and get all of those crazy Bermuda grass weeds out by the root, which those things are, they're like guitar string. They're so thick and they'll hurt your hands. You need to get gloves on to pull them out. She went through and dug through the box foot by foot, inch by inch, and dug those weeds out. I'm gonna do that with the rest of the boxes. As you can see, some of them still have they're just covered over. It looks like a regular patch of lawn. So I need to go in, roll up my sleeves, and get them done so that we can start growing when the season starts here, April or May, something like that. There will be starts that we get going beforehand, most specifically greens. We started some greens early last year. It was as early as February last year, I think, maybe March we started them. And they grew quite well. We'll use this little mini greenhouse covered bed to grow greens in, and we'll start the greens early. That bed's already good to go. But as far as the rest of the garden, what are we gonna grow? Lots of sweet potatoes, lots of tomatoes. We'll try squash, cross our fingers that the squash bugs won't bug us again this year. But heavy on survival food, starches, sweet potatoes and things like that. Sweet potatoes grow so well here, so we're going to keep that up. We still are going through our sweet potatoes from harvest last year, so we're going to keep doing that. Like I said, guys, just kind of a quick update to show you where things are going to be going as we kick into the new year and we get the pigs harvested and we focus on the garden and we talk about getting turkeys. And I think both Holly and I are thinking pretty seriously about sheep. I don't know if we're going to do pigs again right away. We may want to wait on that, but the Kramers are doing really well with their sheep, and I don't know, it's piqued our interest, and we've thought a lot about sheep and what a sheep operation would look like here. Sheep for meat, probably hair sheep, somewhere in the back pasture. That's something that's on the horizon that we're thinking about. I don't know if it would happen this year. There's been a couple of questions, and it's something I did want to address about what's going on with Nana Jana's barn dough. A couple videos back, I told you the kind of unfortunate news that we got that the septic stuff wasn't passing. It wasn't passing muster. Needless to say, that's led us to try and reapproach things. And we put our heads together and have some pretty interesting ideas. The reason I haven't spoken about it is because I don't want to lead people down a trail of like, this is what we're doing when we end up not doing it. So needless to say, there's some pretty interesting ideas in the hopper, some pretty unique takes that we are considering at the moment. I don't want to speak on them until they get a little more solidified and get everyone's hopes up. So I needed to address that. I owe you guys an apology for not addressing it clearer, sooner. So that's what's going on with there. Stay tuned to that because there are some interesting things happening. We just want to make sure that we are definitely going down the path that we choose before we announce it to the world via YouTube. So also, I got an interesting email, which, by the way, people keep sending me emails through themodernyeoman@gmail.com. Please continue that. I may not be able to answer your emails right away, but I love reading them, and I try to get back to them within a week or two after I get them. Anyways, I'll put the portion of the email. Again, I asked this person's permission like I did with the previous email that I talked about, if I could use their email in this video, and they said yes. But essentially, it was a very interesting question. They asked me how old I am and whether there's a specific age you should be if you want to start a homesteading journey. I have a lot of thoughts about that. Well, first of all, my age, I'll just say right up front, I'm 40. I turned 40 in June. And whether or not that's too old to get into the homesteading world I'm not qualified to answer. But I will say, no, I don't think it's too old from my personal perspective. A lot of it depends on your context. Some people are very healthy at 40. Some people are not so healthy at 40. I'd like to think I'm doing okay at 40. I feel like most people are probably definitely in a place where they could get started on this. But I don't think you need to be an Olympic level athlete to get into homesteading at 40. I don't think age really matters if you want to get into this whole world. Whether 40 is too old to be a first-time dad, that's a whole other story. I don't think it is. I think I'm doing pretty well. That's something I'd probably devote another video to. But anyways, long story short, I'm 40. I don't think I'm too old for this. If I wanted to start an agriculture career, then maybe I should be younger if I would want to get into that. I'd have more years. I'd have more decades to devote to it. But in terms of my age and how it affects what I'm doing, zero effect. I think I'm doing good for my age. And if you're 40 plus, like me, and you are interested in getting into this thing, I think you should. I don't think you're too old at all. So that's what I'll have to say about that. Anyways, again, just wanted to give you guys a quick update on how things are going. We've got a lot in the hopper. Stay tuned for everything that's about to go down. And until we see you again next time, remember, as always, slowly, slowly.